It was good. Thanks for pressing play on another Bite Down Boxing morning wood edition. I'm gonna hop in between, like that at all. I'm gonna be hopping in between, my pay me no mind sports and entertainment stuff, as well as some boxing today. Uh, Great news locally or regionally, I guess, but it's a top ranked, not top rank, super lightweight in the state of Ohio up in Toledo, who's battling his way back into contention as super lightweight. And I was just checking out my feed yesterday on a couple different social media platforms, and the young brother Sonny Fredrickson announced that he was fighting his first fight on DAZN, scheduled for April 27th. And I just want to congratulate him on that look. No opponent named at this particular time. But one thing that I did want to say, actually, it's going to be on the April 27th. I got to thinking around the date. I didn't think it was, actually, it's a pretty damn good weekend and a busy weekend for DAZN, in the DAZN app, and probably arguably one of his better moments, in recent weeks, I would imagine. They're helped out by the fact that April 26th is the Sor Rungvisai and Juan Francisco Estrada headline fight out in Los Angeles. And then also on there is Daniel Roman and TJ Diney. Also on that card is Anthony Sims Jr. That's a pretty good lineup. And obviously Sims Jr. is a guy they're trying to that Matchroom Boxing USA and DAZN are trying to see if he's a guy who can get in the super middleweight championship picture. I think this will be Sims Jr.'s his third fight at that weight. So that's a pretty damn good night. Juan Francisco Estrada is probably one of my favorite boxers to watch right now. And real quick thought, I don't know if I saw some images of Max Kellerman's top 10 fighters, and I believe this is consistent on most of the pound for pound list. Yeah, it was Max's pound for pound list, and I believe at number 8 is Sor Rungvisai. And I see all the arguing going back and forth on who should be higher between Crawford and Lomachenko up top. How do you factor in Canelo with some of his, his PED situation, and then Spence, what kind of bump did he get from, beating a smaller Mikey Garcia who was moving up? All the argument is around there. But then we get to number 8, and Sor Rungvisai has 4 losses on his record, I believe, 1 draw. And outside of Chocolatito, while he did wash Chocolatito in that second fight, I actually thought Chocolatito, Roman Gonzalez, won the first fight. But I don't know many people on Sor Rungvisai's record. And he's just here a fixture in the pound for pound list, the last several months, really ever since defeating Roman Gonzalez, maybe a year and a half ago or whatever it was. But there's no questioning whatsoever about him. Maybe that's because nobody can pronounce his name or something. I was looking on Twitter yesterday, and unified middleweight champion Clarissa Shields didn't even know who he was. She was like, who is that at number 8? But that's just a funny observation to me, is nobody questions. And Sor Rungvisai, can bang. And obviously, a phenomenal performance against Chocolatito. I believe that was in NYC for the first meeting, and then just came out and absolutely ran roughshod over Chocolatito in the rematch. But I believe if I remember my final score correctly, I thought Estrada edged out the first fight with Sor Rungvisai. But my scoring isn't official, so whatever. But I'm just glad they're running it back, And I just think I saw on Boxing Scene yesterday that Estrada said that he had some injuries, that he had some, he said he was only 50% that fight. I don't really believe that, but that's what he's running with. But it's good that they're running it back. I'm excited for that one. Coming up on the next night, DAZN gets a bump because it's the World Boxing Super Series resumes. So this is the fight. This is the card that I'm saying that Sonny Fredrickson out of Toledo, Ohio, is on. Is the I guess that's the semifinals of the with the Nonito Donaire against Zolani Tete, I think is the main event, and then the co-main is Regis Prograis against Kiro Relic. That's going to be a phenomenal card. Now, I saw last week where Ramirez, the 140-pound champion out west, that he was making some comments, making some jabs at Regis for the lack of ticket sales. And I think this is Regis's third card down there in Louisiana, and it's depressing or disappointing that the city hasn't really responded to him that well since the first one. The first one that they had on ESPN, it was a pretty good turnout for that one, but I think they came back and had his Flanagan fight. What you looking at? Damn, I'm not bothering you. I think they came back and had the Flanagan fight down there in Louisiana, and it was pretty empty in there, I'm not gonna lie. But the World Boxing Super Series needs to do better promotion. So that's gonna be a phenomenal event. Like I said, it's a shot for Sonny to be on the same, to appear on the same card as a Regis Prograis. Not to say that or to suggest that Sonny Fredrickson is ready for that level, but I do think there is a path forward in that division for Sonny. Ever since he was stopped in, I believe, the second round against Shojahan Ergashev, he has come back from that, where he sustained a broken jaw. He is 2-0, picked up a secondary belt. He's ranked in the top 15 in 2 of the sanctioning bodies out here. And, he's resumed fighting the fight that he started. So it's good to see him get back in the mix. Like I said, I don't know who his opponent is TBA at this particular time. But if he's able to have a good outing that night, maybe that does propel him into a future matchup with a Regis Prograis or a Mo Hooker. So I just wanted to salute Sonny and his team, Victory Sports Management. They're also with, they were part of the turnaround with Badu Jack. They also helped lead Jose Pedraza back towards, a world title, holding a world title, and then obviously the fight with Lomachenko. So salute to that brother. Like I said, I'm hoping that he has a good outing that night. And I just wanted to call attention to this April 26th and 27th, which, if you are a DAZN subscriber, that should be a great weekend for you. I mean, it should be no complaints whatsoever. Ideally, that's probably, I guess for me, one thought with DAZN, I always just wanted fights that were better than ESPN Friday night fights. That's all I really wanted. Even with the PBC and all the other stuff that's going on, always just wanted to see better action than what we were getting on ESPN Friday night fights. So by and large, most of the entities out there that are doing cards right now, we are getting better, more meaningful action than that. We might be paying for it in different ways, $5 for ESPN Plus, right now $9.99 for for DAZN, with it going up to the $19.99, so on and so forth, whatever. But like I said, I just wanted to take a look at that, and just there's weeks where we had some down weeks in boxing, but there was horrible. I know last year in the NFL, the Thursday night games were wretched. I mean, you couldn't watch any of them because of the blowouts or the non-competitiveness in that. We do get to sometimes, later in the year, as teams start to realize that they're not going to the playoffs in the NFL, you see bad football. So there's lulls in the action. But like I said, for me personally, as a guy who watches so much, you know, I'm writing, doing podcasts, chasing down interviews and whatnot. It's a week for me too. I mean, down weeks are a good thing because, you know, I can go out and do something with my wife or, you know, take care of a different project around the house and whatnot. So that's what it is. Like I said, I just wanted to come on, talk about late April on DAZN. And like I said, highlight a couple of fighters. Like I said, Juan Francisco Estrada is a phenomenal boxer, in my opinion. A very versatile guy, a very action-packed guy, very smart fighter, wants to fight everybody. Maybe not the marquee name, the box office name, but definitely a guy that knows what the hell he's doing in there. And one of those situations where we don't get bogged down in months and months and months of contract negotiations. He just goes in and fights, so I can appreciate that. So and then Daniel Roman, I mean the matchup with, or the potential matchup with him and Isaac Dogboe, you know, that one went up in flames when Emmanuel Navarrete, or Navarrete, however you pronounce it, when he upset Dogboe. But it's a good chance. He's Roman is a very skillful dude. So, and on that note, before I get ready to get out of here, they also finally finalized the rematch between Emmanuel Navarrete and Isaac Dogboe. So that's coming up on May 11th. I think Burchell is also going to have his rematch with Vargas on that one. The only thing there is that'll be a conflicting night with the super welterweight championship with Hurd and J-Rock. So that's a crowded weekend. But anyway, tons of boxing out there, tons of stuff to be excited about, you know, coming up in the next month and a half. Everybody's back to work, so keep an eye on it. Like I said, I just wanted to get in a word this morning and highlight a couple of things and salute my man from Toledo, Ohio. Just for a little context, Sonny Fredrickson is in the gym with Robert Easter Jr., who that fight was finalized and announced with Rancis Barthélemy. So, and I think they're fighting for a secondary title, I believe. So, and I think that was what, April, damn, is that April 27th too? I think that is. So that's another double programming. So like I said, let me get on off of here, man. I got some good news this morning. Had some x-rays on my back. A brother has been damaged for the past 2 weeks. And I got some good news that nothing is structurally wrong with my back. The right side of my lower back is just jacked up. And so I don't need any major stuff. They just gave me some therapy. And maybe in another week I can tie my shoe again. So hey, let me get on out of here. Thanks for rocking with me for a few minutes. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. If I put any information out there that was useful or informative, do that for me. And I'm out of here. 1.